Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome to the Everything and Nothing Show. I am just one of your hosts with the mostest, Clayton Kisko, and I'm accompanied by a full cast of the Maelstrom Gamers here on the Everything Nothing Show. And we have with us today the most important man, the bad boy. Cop Show's number one fan. A man that's going to be here for the entire episode. We love him. You love him. Steve Landis.
It's
What's
a better remix.
Nice. Nice. You got talent. Next up, we have the A Train, the Canadian sensation, Alan Toner.
Yo, what is up? I am a robot.
He's been grapefruited.
He also, he's what? Grapefruited?
Grapefruited.
Yeah.
Hashtag grapefruit.
And next up, we have the most beautiful man in the world, on
Hey
the
guys.
planet,
On the flat earth.
on the flat earth, a.k.a. Backdoor, Rocco Avellino.
That is not in a good AKA.
AKA Lemon Party.
Like League of Legends is gonna be like backdoor. Like I knew that guy was that.
A.k.a. Red Balls. And last up, certainly not least, we have the man formerly known as the Enigma, Ian Kane.
What's up, guys?
No.
What's going on?
What?
It's the man without the mask.
That's right. The man without the mask, formerly known as the Enigma, Ian Kane.
Like
going on?
he redoes
What's
it.
going on? We had to redo it.
You had
I
to.
fucked up.
I just gotta make my name like a symbol, like Prince now.
Yeah, we really do need to make a symbol. And that's what it needs to be. So, guys, we're just talking about some grapefruiting. If you're joining us right now and you don't know what this is about, I'll spell it out for you very quickly and very simply. All of us Maelstrom gamers, we hop on a Skype. We each bring a topic for our discussion, but more importantly for your entertainment. Each topic is its own video on YouTube, around 15 minutes long. Topic by topic, we dole it out Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, all the topics are rolled up into a single episode, and you can get it all for free on youtube.com/Maelstrom Gamers channel. And if you'd like to support us, and on the top of that, get that a little bit early, you can go to patreon.com/Maelstrom Gamers, and you can become a Maelstrom Gamer by giving us just as little as $1 and as much as you'd like. And you can get all of the stuff for free and early. If you don't have money, that's cool too. You can support us by commenting, liking, subscribing on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter @Maelstrom Gamers, and even on our Instagram. And then if you haven't had enough of us, you can see us streaming live on YouTube. We're playing League of Legends all day, day. We're trying for season 6. We're trying to get to the gold. We're trying to get to platinum. We're doing our best. Like, we're not the best, but we're not the worst. We are entertaining. So join us on this journey in season 6. We're sure that you'll have fun. And if you like playing League of Legends, play with us. We want to know who you are. Send us your tag. Rocker's shaking his head no, but I'll play with you. I'll play with you. We'll play some League of Legends.
Me too. I'm like the best player on the
Yeah,
team.
Alan is the best player.
I play the
That one's
most,
gonna be
too.
bad. That one's gonna be bad.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Steve-O's got the mob after him. So if you see
He's a
him
Florida
looking over
man,
his-
so say no
He's a
more.
Florida man. If you guys haven't seen that the mountain lion kind of thing, he's watching out for that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the Sunshine State.
Yeah. Steve's in Africa right now. He is on
Finding out
safari.
malaria.
Yeah,
Got my,
he's looking into the
citronella
Zika
candle.
virus spreading all the way down into Africa. So, how is it over there? Is it cold? Is it nice? Like, are there blood
Right now?
diamonds?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad.
Are there blood diamonds?
I-
Is that what you
Blood
just said?
I just heard that was a thing.
Yeah, of course.
Are there blood diamonds? Like,
Have you seen them? All right, cool, awesome.
Well,
let's
you know
get
what
on to
happens here in Florida? It's just a bunch of murderers, rapists, and thieves. So
Crocodiles.
you always
Yeah.
hear about it in the paper.
That's true.
yeah, pretty
It's
much.
very true. The crazy.
And retired Jewish people.
Yep.
Yep. And we eat faces down here.
He goes,
You just
But retired people in general too, right? Just like old
Yeah.
people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think especially people from New York.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
New
Totally.
York, yeah, and north,
Jersey.
northeast.
Yeah.
but especially people from New York.
They just live with hurricanes and snow in Boston. Like, they just live with that all year long for all their life, and then they're like, "Fuck this, I'm going to Florida." They just want
Yep. Because their
We
bones
just
hurt.
want hurricanes, and that's
Bones
it.
Well, why don't they go to Texas, man? It's like
not really the
little drier.
You guys don't have like the islands and stuff and like the nice
Yeah,
beaches.
man, no beaches.
The only thing that comes out of
There's some
Texas is
beach.
steers and queers.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, Ian, did you come up with that yourself?
All right, guys, let's go on to our first topic.
Yeah.
Since we have some people leaving, I'm gonna actually jump onto my topic first, and it's a continuation.
We're not even gonna care about them. We're gonna put them at the end.
We're gonna not care. I'm gonna be selfish.
Oh,
and I'm gonna do my topic. My topic is gonna be actually the continuation. I've been able to talk to Rocco and Alan solo about politics, and then I talked about politics with Ian and Steve-O. And now that we're all here, I think this is a good opportunity to continue our discussions that we were having. For instance, when we left last week, Ian and I were very heated topic, calling each other names, threatening each other over military defenses and spending in the United States. And I believe
popcorn, just like looking, just like
Steve was just like, he was like, oh, you didn't hear this, but Ian just called you a dick, and I was like, what? And so he would just kind of,
Oh, you didn't hear this?
yeah. We're on the same Skype channel, but whatever.
I
And
didn't
then
see anything.
yeah. And then when we left off with Alan and Rocco, I believe we were kind of talking about healthcare, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, it's pretty interesting. Wisconsin, as of this recording, Wisconsin is the next state up for the Democrats and the Republicans. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. It seems as if what I was understanding is that Hillary Clinton has pretty much given up Wisconsin, succeeding it to Sanders. Sanders and Hillary are battling it out in New York. It seems to be a pretty big state for them. If Sanders were to get this, his potential to win is real.
Any news yet on Hillary Clinton allowing the debate to happen in New York? Because I know that the Bernie Sanders campaign was asking for that to happen, but was being rejected for quite a while now. What I was left up with is no response on whether they wanted to go forward with that or not.
No debate. There is a Republican debate, from what I understand.
Okay.
I don't know when that is. But
see, that seems weird because Hillary Clinton, I mean, her home state is New York, so
that's why it makes it so intriguing. But
Yeah.
the people in New York actually have like a weird
yeah.
they don't know if they trust her yet or not. So if she were to
Yeah.
lose this, Sanders got a ton of momentum because he just came from the West Coast where he nabbed up, I believe, Oregon, Washington,
In Alaska.
and he got a ton of delegates.
Hawaii.
So yeah, in Hawaii, and he closed
Which
the
is
gap.
nuts.
I think it's something like 200 delegates now. He was at like 500. So New York and then California would be the two last big ones because they have a ginormous amount of delegates and they have a lot of influence. So the Democratic race, in my opinion, I've heard some people say Clinton's going to win this. I think she's still in the she's projected to win, but I still think it's very much up in the air.
I think it's it's just mad close.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but I was reading an article where a guy confronted on Facebook one of the super delegates out of Alaska. There's 4 super delegates, and was saying, the super delegate was on the fence about voting for Hillary, or for Sanders. And after they voted, and 75% of the population voted for Bernie Sanders, a guy confronted the superdelegate and said, well, now that you've seen that 75% of the population wants to vote for Bernie, has it made your decision a lot easier now? And she goes, I've had really bad discussions with Bernie Sanders supporters who's really negative, yada, 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 and I'm going to be voting for Hillary. And the guy got, he handled himself very well, and he just kind of delivered back a message pretty much saying, like, listen, if your personal preference is wanting to go and vote for Hillary Clinton, that's perfectly fine. But when you're trying to represent the state as a super delegate based off of like our population's vote, I could say that you're gonna have to. It can't be personal preference at that point. Pretty much, long story short, she still said at the end of the day, like, she belittled him a little bit, kind of talked a little bit disrespectful, and then said, "I'm still voting for Hillary Clinton." So that's infuriated a lot of individuals, especially Bernie Sanders supporters, because knowing that, like, it's like you just said, this 200, super delegates, kind of like 200 delegates away from tying up with Hillary, and knowing that really at the end of the day, the super delegates are going to play a major part in this. And it kind of like feels like democracy's dead when individuals like that, like this lady up in Alaska, decide that they don't want to vote for the population. They want to take it and do a personal preference when they're the super delegate that's supposed to be representing the population.
It makes people like Steve-O say the things that he said last time, which is, my vote doesn't matter, I'm not going to vote. Like, we started this conversation, and Steve was like, my vote don't matter. And then he just knocked over his mic and walked away.
It doesn't matter.
Guess we're not going to talk about him. And then, he came back to tell me he heard that Ian called me a dick.
I would love to tell him that he's wrong there, but when a super delegate answers back and responds like this, then I would say perhaps you're right, because, I mean, our vote at that point wouldn't be mattering if they decided to go opposing the population.
Yeah, it goes to the electoral votes or whatever, right? A person in office would basically take, because we do vote, and then based on our votes,
The superdelegates
the politicians, super delegates,
But
they
the
get
electoral votes are
but
the actual.
So
well,
the
the popular
super
vote
things
is
that matter.
who gets nominated. That's the big
Right.
thing. So that's
Right.
like who the Democrats can have the electoral people vote for. So it's like if we all vote for Bernie Sanders, and he's the one that they have to vote on, rather
that's-
well,
than
this
the
is the
other,
thing. They
I thought
don't
that
have
was
to.
only
They
in the
actually don't. The super
main
delegates don't have to. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So it's like
That's
now
what's
it
weird.
has,
Is
it's
they
happened,
don't have
like,
to.
once in history or something like that. I think it's only happened where they've gone against the population, but really they kind of go for it. They're not required to. But that's just like.
But there's
It's
no
gonna be
like
one of those
repercussions,
things they
right?
should
Like
be.
who's the what does the delegate do? Does he get voted into office? Like I don't know who the fuck my delegates are.
So,
Like I don't care.
I mean,
So like they can just do whatever
supposedly
they
it's just
want,
like-
and I wouldn't know who to blame.
It's putting their time behind, like putting their time into the the political system for several years, and then
no,
eventually
what they have to be elected
voted by
somebody.
the state.
Oh, I think they are. I just don't think it's very
Well,
like.
so is that the thing? If all these Bernie Sanders people that voted for Bernie Sanders in Alaska, they put this lady, this super delegate, into office, they're
Yeah.
going to be like, "What the
You're
fuck?
fucked,
We
yeah.
put you, yeah,
Well,
like, you're not.
yeah.
We're not going to re-elect
Right,
you."
exactly.
Totally.
And they said this too. They said, we're going to hold you, we're going to hold you accountable too if you vote, opposing, the population's vote.
But do you
They're
think
pretty
they
much
will?
just saying like, listen, you're supposed to be representing us and you're not, and we're the public. So, I think she was voted in somewhere like 2012, and most likely won't be voted again if she's going against the
Yeah, she
population.
goes against them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it's
But they're
supposed
supposed
to
to
work.
They're
but-
voted
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But so then there must be some for her to do that without sacrificing her like career or something. Then she must have some backing from somebody else or something like that.
Well,
then, right?
he even kind of said something like that. He even and this guy he worded it very politely, honestly. Like could have gone aggressive with it because it was very infuriating for me even to be reading
Jumping
it. But
spiders
it was
in
like,
Africa.
yeah, he was just like, there must be something that's like you must be in somebody's pocket of some sort or something like that. And she was like, I'm not in anybody's pocket. And that's when she kind of got like really pissed off.
Hit a nerve.
Just saying
Yeah.
like, there's got to be something going on here that's just not right because you're keep on voting against the population, and it's not even like a little bit. It's 75% of the state voted for
Hey,
Bernie. So it's like,
Yeah, Ian.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because starting off this whole thing though, you guys were talking about your last discussion of healthcare,
yeah.
and I was kind of wanting to know Alan's take on healthcare up there in Canada. Like,
It's good. It's really good for like life-threatening or like life-changing stuff. But for your day-to-day stuff, like if you get a cold or you just have to like go get some X-rays, it can be a huge pain in the ass because then you have to be put on a waiting list until they open up. You have a slot for you to like get your X-ray or MRI or whatever.
oh really?
But if you
I
have
didn't know
like,
that.
but if you have like you're pregnant or something, then like it's all paid for. There's no hospital bills or anything like that. It's covered by your general health care. Or if
Yeah.
you get into a car accident, you're not going to have $100,000 worth of anesthesia just for just for there, and then like just your hospital stays like another 60 grand or something like that.
Now I got a question for you. Do you think it's possibly because there's not enough healthcare providers there, that's why you have to be put on a list because everybody has healthcare, or is it just?
Well, no,
like-
yeah, that's
'cause
that's
everybody-
kind of the thing. It's like you have so many, everybody can do this thing, right? So it's like, well, shit tons of people need MRIs. Like, well, we only have this many people that can do MRIs.
Do
Same thing.
MRIs,
Like when
yeah.
I was going to trying to get a psychiatrist for ADD medication, I had the waiting list was like 3 months out just because it's like anybody that wants to go, there's like 4 guys that are like in the province that can do that thing. So it's like a huge demand, and it's basically like you're kind of at the
That's
mercy of
actually-
the system.
There
That's
was
actually
a,
something that the Americans were really worried about when they were doing the Obamacare at the first.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
worried about.
That's everything I
They were
heard.
extremely worried about like I'm not gonna be able to go see my doctor at
You
all.
want to wait in line for a liver? It was like, what?
But that's not
I know.
like I mean you're gonna have to wait for stuff like that in the states anyway,
Yeah.
like organ transplant. Like it's not like they just have like livers sitting around
Yeah.
waiting for you to like.
No, 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 no.
Oh, let's open the
I mean,
liver fridge.
all of-
Like
Yeah,
there it is,
they over exaggerate everything.
It's a lot-
yeah, you're
Not
gonna
just
have to
for
wait.
organs,
No
though.
matter
They were
what.
actually worried about the doctors. Like I'm gonna go to see
Just
like a lot
day-to-day
of the medical
doctors.
population was worried about like I gotta go because I'm having a sick cold or something like that.
Right. Like
To be able-
yeah, like okay, but you're not gonna die. You're not gonna die at the end of the day if you don't see them. Like you might wait like 2 hours or like an hour just to see the doctor. Like that's it. It's not like you're waiting like weeks to just go see somebody for the common cold.
I heard the
Yeah.
best line from a TV show the other day, like explaining why Canadians are so nice. Was I was watching this show called Love on Netflix. If you don't know what that is,
Oh,
you
yeah,
should
I've
check
seen
it.
it, yeah.
It's really funny. But the one guy, they just go to the like 2 people having a conversation at a party. It's like, He's like, yeah, like universal healthcare. That's why Canadians are so nice, because they don't have the stress of having to go to the hospital all the time, so they can just relax. And it's like, yes, that's perfect.
Yeah, like Yukiko's had to go for like emergency room a few times, and like it's always taken care of, pretty timely. And then again, once you get out, there's no bill, despite even getting medication, staying in the hospital for a few hours.
Yeah.
See, and that's pretty nice because when I walk out, get a surgery here in the States, and I've got myself insurance, I'm still having to pay like $2,600. The bill was going to be 26,000 kind of deal. So it's like having something like that where it's you got your universal health care that you get by just being a Canadian citizen. I think that should be a right, to be truthful. Like for me, I believe that healthcare should be a right for individuals, not a privilege.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it is like, the taxes here are higher than they are like state to state.
Yeah.
That
was my next question. Is like, what are like the taxes on that normally?
Yeah. So I would say it's like I don't think it's quite as drastic as what like Bernie Sanders' plan originally outlined, but again, his is over like a long-term period. But I would say like a paycheck, 25% to like around 25%, 25 to 30% is gone.
It's how much you're taxed.
Yeah.
Oh, in total or just for health?
Total.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to go to a.
I was
So
about to
this
say,
is
There's also a
just
few
for
things like there's like some healthcare stuff. Yeah.
Canada's very progressive too, so it's like there's a lot of things that I think like social programs that they have that would be why they would be 25%. You know
And
what I mean?
something E and I were just talking about in terms of like taxes and where the federal government like takes that money and how they distribute it and use it. Like one thing we were talking about is like, it's really hard to have universal health care like without having to pay for it. Like you can't have both. You have to have people all chip in, and that's why you see something like a fine if someone doesn't. It's basically just a different. It's a nastier perception on everybody being taxed, because we don't tax people for this healthcare, the Obamacare, but we fine you, right? Like we fine you for not having healthcare. So like we need to be able to, like, everybody needs to either be contributing into it so that we can provide it for everybody, or we need to fine you because we need that money. Like we need to be able to fund it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
'cause, like my example is that my wife didn't have healthcare one year, so she got fined. So like literally, she didn't have it, and then she also had to pay out for something she didn't even have. And the government's saying you have to have this. And my point is, you live in a free country. I understand that healthcare is a good thing to have, but why am I being told I have to have it in a free country?
Right. I think it's because they're trying to move into the direction where everybody can have universal health care as a right, and that means that these steps that we're taking right now are necessary to get to that point. Now, if we can jump from A to Z, I think they would do that, but they couldn't. I think they had to go, all right, we got to take these initial steps first, so some people are going to have to get penalties, some of these things, and then eventually it's going to be your wife's not going to have a choice. There's not going to be a choice. Everybody's going to have healthcare, which is something that's like you should have, and especially in a wealthy country like ourselves, that if you have any problems, no matter what age, no matter what group, you're getting some type of care and assistance, because you should. Like, why do we live in the 21st century where you couldn't go do that, or you'd have to,
or people walk away, don't have
can't
health
afford
care,
it,
and they walk away with like $50,000 in debt.
Right.
Because of one ER visit.
So like right now,
That's
the fines
fucked.
and all the different stuff, I get where there would be the irritation, the anger, and the stuff like that, because really it's like not cool, but it's like the initial step to try to get to that point of what Canada kind of is offering right now.
I just think it's a bad approach, because a working middle class people, we're paying out so other people can have health care, and she doesn't get it. It's just like that.
Well,
why did she not
have health care? What was the
couldn't
reason?
afford it?
Right. Well, that's the problem, right? Like, it's like everybody has their like unsocialized medicine. They're all like it's basically medicine is for profit. They're not doing it necessarily to help people. They're just doing it to this is how we make our money. This is how we make our revenue. So this is how much you have to pay for our healthcare if you want to get this kind of coverage, right? But if you have the socialized medicine, then there's a flat fee basically that everybody pays. So it's attainable for everybody.
That issue there, Ian, is because it's still like a capitalism setup where there's private companies still controlling the situation. It's not full socialized medicine, which is why that's so expensive still, because the insurance company goes, oh wow, we're going to allow any pre-existing conditions, and if we're going to allow that, and we're allowing everybody else to come on to healthcare coverage, and without those pre-existing conditions, we need to bump up the premiums, dramatically. And because they have that control, because the government has allowed that private companies to be able to do that, that's why we have, I couldn't afford it, And
well, then why do you pretty much punish the working middle class and not the companies in the private sector? Why?
It's hard.
Why?
It's,
That's,
you ever hear the
that's why
term?
you have to. That's why you have to elect the type of.
Yeah, that's why you want to go
Yeah.
for Bernie Sanders, because he's
I
like,
agree with you there, Ian.
Bernie Sanders wants to take private healthcare completely out, and while that gives more control, or like to the federal government, you'll have more things like Canada, where it's like, look, it's not capitalized. It's run by the people, so to speak. It will go through the federal government, but it's protecting us and putting the prices really, really low and far down.
I mean, that's true. Exactly. I agree with you too, Ian. Like that's the issue, is that like why are the American people getting like hit with this? Why isn't the companies having to go through, the hurdles to be able to jump over that? But that's the political system right now.
And it's not just healthcare, dude. It's like you talked about, why is the middle class being like screwed over by these private companies? It's healthcare, it's education systems, it's politics, it's all of these things, and that's why I resonate so much with Bernie Sanders, because he's attacking with just ruthless aggression. He's like, dude, this is fucked up, and we're gonna fix this, and I'm gonna try my damnedest. It might not happen, but I'm gonna like push it as far as I can. And the same can be said about Obama's campaign. And while he didn't get the most ideal healthcare system, this healthcare system that we have now is is so drastic in the last 60 years that it's just at least one step closer to what we really need to get. And you can't just, it's hard. People really expect us to just like be perfect. But if you look at what he's accomplished with the knuckleheads, like the bipartisan,
that's what I was just going to say, is he met
party?
some major resistance in the courts when you're trying to push this Obamacare through, which they had to change I mean a ton of the bill. So
you want to move a car from one parking spot to the next, and you're the only one moving it, and you got 20 people behind you pushing the other way. If you're able to move it 1 or 2 parking spots, that's a success in my book. And the next guy who's going to push this thing, hopefully he can push it with less people resisting him. Like, it's a win. It's not the win we want, but like, it's a win in the right direction.
Yeah. Depending on who you are. I mean, everybody has opposing
That's true.
opposing beliefs. Like
from my opinion.
Yeah,
and I've seen Cobra. Like, I've been in the unemployment. Like, I've seen what Cobra costs. It's like $500 a month. And I know that Affordable Care Act doesn't cost that much. Like, it's providing people options for cheaper health care.
Okay, so I will go out there and say that, yes, it still does cost. Well, it's for 2 people, though.
Yeah,
okay, not one individual.
Okay,
right.
$500 for one individual is what Cobra is. So for one individual, I know that it could be as low as as low as $100 a month on Affordable Care Act.
So on the Affordable Care Act, I mean, I was recently on it too. So for me and my wife, we're 30 years old. It was about $500-something a month with a only $80 subsidy, because we're in that bottom middle class area where it's like we don't get many tax breaks, or we don't get many subsidy breaks, and huh?
I said you get the big old.
Well,
right
it's like
there.
You're right there, and you're like, yeah, I got out of it, and then like getting pushed back down, oh no, But it was like at least we did have healthcare coverage where we opposed to not having it. And I don't know what the fines look like. So Ian, I mean, you're more educated on that because your wife got that fine. But this tax season, I will see what it's like to not have insurance for 3 months. That's it. So see if there's a fine involved there.
I don't remember what it was. I mean, now she's under my health care, which I pay every month, which I mean, I just added her. And that's the other thing is, like, for me personally, just to have my own health care, I'm at this level. But when I added her, it almost like went over double. It was like ridiculous.
Dude. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And,
so bad.
I mean, I get one of the better health cares just in case, you always want to kind of have that in your back pocket. Now, one thing that's horrible about me that I've been telling my wife for the past like 3 years is that I don't go to the doctor, which I should, of course. And I hear it almost every day from her.
That's our generation, dude. I mean, that's not our generation. That's males under 50.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And I'll say it to you guys too. I'll go to the doctor. Don't worry.
We need you here, buddy, for a very long time.
But and the other conversation Clay and I had was spending on our military.
Yeah.
Him and I had
Unpack that sumbitch.
Yeah, that's where our opposing views are.
Yeah.
And I know that a hefty amount.
And what are you in favor for?
definitely pay for military all day.
Okay. Yeah. And
I mean,
Clay, you're against paying for military,
no,
or
no, he's not against paying for
Go to
it.
the
I
go to
mean,
the chart. Go to the
just-
chart. Go to the pie chart.
There you
His
Steve.
made-up
There
pie
you
chart.
Go to the pie chart. I don't have the pie chart with me. Basically,
You can make it up.
make the
Quite
circle.
honestly,
okay,
you
so
can-
we have
you
we
can
have a
look it
circle,
up,
and then
right?
half the circle is military spend. This what makes up our $15 trillion
do the
debt.
pie chart?
So of the 15 trillion debt, half of it's going to military. The other half is all the other stuff like education, healthcare, all this other, like everything else is in the other half. But this half is military, and we know that our military is so far advanced and so much more money goes into it that the next it's basically the combination of the next 3 military groups combined. It's larger than that.
Well, they say that our budget is like larger than almost all the other military around the world.
That's what I was just saying.
combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I completely agree with Ian that military is our defense and we need to like treat it with like respect and importance, I have a feeling that we're paying $500 for 4 apples when we need to go to the other grocery store, dude, and start paying the 4 apple prices that we really need to be paying for. Like, this is insane. So there's a lot of audits I think we can do here, which is, again, something Bernie Sanders wants to do.
Well,
Yeah.
you're paying $500 for 4 chuckleheads in office, that aren't doing anything. Why do we pay so much towards government employees? I'd rather pay military people putting their lives on the line
Dude,
for us.
but that's a
That's
sliver.
I think that spending is not going to like the soldiers on the ground or
No.
anything. Or like
Oh,
the
there's a
training
lot of
soldiers.
things. No,
This
it's
is
going
like
to-
this is to research and development to like weapon contractors that
Like
are
house
like designing like how to fucking send a missile down like an anthole to like take out something. Like
Sold.
it's like so absurd though. Like why do we need that? Why do
No.
we need that?
Yeah, like, and there's definitely future think. Like, there's just a way to make this more efficient. Like the anthole thing, great example. We probably don't need to worry about that for another 10 years. Going into a cave, yeah, okay. We're dealing with a lot of people hiding in caves. Let's spend some money in there. Do we need all the other like submarines to be like referred? Like, we're not gonna be submarine battling. Fuck that shit. Take that out, man. Do we
How
need
do
to
you
be
know?
like making tanks? No,
Submarine
man.
battling.
We haven't used tanks in a year. Pull that fucking shit out. Like,
But that's
there's
the
this-
thing. It's like all this. If you scale all this back, like if there's less military presence in general, then I guess there's going to be like less people you're like dicking over and like stepping on their toes, right? Like
Yeah.
then there's less reason to have them. So like, what's the? It's like a catch-22, right? Like if you don't fuck around, like you need all this military like in presence to be like so imposing all the time, then you're not going to be like getting into other people's shit all the time. Then there's less reason for them to feel like you're not safe.
I understand that we're not the world police, and I'm not saying keep that going. I just think that I'm not saying that the military spending is perfect, but there's a lot of other issues that spending is affecting with our government tax dollars. I mean,
But when you
I
look
just
at that
think-
pie chart that I so articulated,
I get your
half
pie
of it,
chart. Now,
half
and
of
I'll
it is
tell you this.
military, and then like a sliver.
A, you didn't cite your source. I don't know where that pie chart is.
All right, I will find
it was
I will
drawn
find
on the back of a napkin.
I will find it. I will find it.
That's a source.
Yeah, I will find
Just
it.
depends on how valid you think Clay's opinion is.
But
I will
my
find it.
thing is that Rome had the best army at one point.
then it
There, a lot
And the
of
barbarians
major-
conquered it.
Yeah, but a lot of different, and that's why I think military spending is an important thing. I'm not saying to just let them free run and spend every dime in the world that without auditing it, but I'm just saying that there is other, I think, wasteful tax dollars and wasteful money going to other things than just the military.
Gotcha.
And cutting back so drastically on it and lowering our military presence could be a good idea, but you can let some companies go free roaming and all that other stuff. And I don't want to be the world police, but like I said again, I just think that there's other things that we can focus on that would better suit and help our country.
But when you see wouldn't you agree that prioritizing the military inefficiency spend is probably the first priority, considering it has the ability to, I don't know, reduce it by 15%, 10%, whereas what you're talking about would require not only the salaries of the individuals in Senate and politics, but also having to take the next 10 things into consideration, if that. I'm kind of ballparking numbers, but we can look at one thing in the military, and that can combine to be like a bunch of things that you're
I was
describing.
gonna say if you take even 5% of that half of a pie chart, that's equal to like so much money
Yeah.
that could be spent on other things. Like even just 5%, even like 10%, whatever.
Right, if your hypothetical 16 trillion, 8 trillion of it's in the military kind of deal, and you take 1 trillion, there would be no fines for you for universal health care, and everybody would have health care as a right, because that would be that 1 trillion taken from tax dollars used not to the military, but now used back into the system for education and
Right.
for health care. And that's where that's like, yes, we could allocate the budget that we're doing for right now for military into other areas that can make us as a community, as a whole, as a country, rise up, so that we can get rid of things like veterans sleeping on the streets.
Yeah.
We can get rid of poverty here in the United States. We can get rid of people hungry here in the United States just by taking a little piece of that pie that we're putting so much into with the military. Now, I'm not advocating to get rid of the military, but I absolutely think that we should be looking, like Clay was saying, at what kind of programs do we need to audit? What kind of programs are absolutely necessary, and which ones are we just throwing money to throw there because somebody lobbied for it and now they're making $200 billion because they own that company that they got, they lobbied for and they got the government contract for, and now they're just doing bullshit stuff.
And 9/11, I mean, we had a strong military, and 9/11 still happened. So, and that wasn't.
Things are going to still happen. You're not going to protect yourself from every little thing.
But my point is that a strong military does not, like, the military spending of what we're doing doesn't stop us from 9/11. What stops us from 9/11 is like smart, thorough research and communication amongst the different branches of government to say, hey, look, we've heard this stuff. This is probably going to happen. We need to stop it. It doesn't require the amount of money we're spending on the military to do that.
Well, you're talking about auditing too, though. Why are we like auditing food stamps and all that other stuff? People run rampant with that and just.
It's so small.
And so that they are. So, for example, here there's a pilot program in Georgia right now that's running through 3 different counties that says that if you don't get a job, you're getting food stamps, and you don't go to get a job or be in job training within 3 months of receiving those food stamps, you will get your food stamps removed from you, and you will no longer be able to apply for 3 years. 5,000 people as of yesterday had lost their food stamps because of that pilot program. They are incorporating those things right now. They're trying to work out programs to see, like, okay, we want to be able to give out welfare, we want to be able to help out people, but we don't also want them to just be milking the system. We want them to just be going out there and trying to bettering themselves and the society.
We should really look at how much money that's actually taking from that debt. Because I'm hard pressed to believe that food stamps are a significant portion of that pie.
I'm not just saying just food stamps. I'm just saying programs like.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ones out there, and you combine them all.
Here's my perspective of those programs.
Real quick, because we have to wrap up soon.
Yeah. Okay. Real fast. I think that they have good intentions. I think that maybe they should be structured a little bit differently so that they're helping the society get back on their feet and get up there and get out there.
It's broken.
But they're broke. They're broken to a step. But their intentions are to try to get these individuals that are having a really hard time, don't have the opportunities that a lot of other individuals have, to try to get back up on their feet. Now that's fine. But when it's being abused and stuff like that, that's obviously the issue. Also, I think that the systems aren't helping push people into, getting jobs or helping them with life coaches and debt management or these other programs that we could incorporate for any individual that's receiving type of welfare to say, hey, let's try to get you, back into society to become a productive, citizen.
It's so crazy how we're not there yet. It's wild. That's a whole nother topic that we can go into. It's like the mental health care and like just getting persons back into society. It's like instead of like putting a Band-Aid and putting them in a house and being like, all right, 5 days of up, you got food, get back out there, and then come back in 10. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, we need to wrap up because we're hitting a mark here. Ian, we attacked you, and I feel bad. I want to give you the last word.
Okay, just real quick. Yeah. I put a link up there of a pie chart that I found. Yeah. And I see that Department of Defense is 17%.
Okay, that's just the defense. That's not all of military.
Well, I'm just Department of Defense. You got.
He drew up a perfectly good pie chart, Ian.
I cited a source.
Fair point. That's my goal for next week is to get more of these pie charts and sources.
More of these
and I will
pie
show
charts.
You. In particular, I'll look for healthcare. I'll look for education. I'll look for salaries for the politics, and then I'll look for food stamp stuff and programs like that, not just food stamps. Like you said.
No, that's cool. And all I'm going to say is that, yes, I agree that things do need to change, though.
Yeah.
It's time for a change.
I think everybody's in that boat, whether you're no matter which way you're voting. I think that everybody's frustrated right now, and they realize that something needs to change.
And Steven, you better vote.
Yeah,
So
dude.
I'm so glad I
Yeah,
contributed
Steve.
to that entire topic right there. I'm so glad I was here. For
Killing bugs.
that. So glad I was here for that.
All right, let's go on to our next topic. I'm gonna go to Steve-O because I knew you have to leave soon. So let's do yours, dude.
All right, I was just gonna go back to this flat Earth deal. Guys, I'm a flat earther.
No, you're not.
You guys gonna have to come
Took
at
him
me.
off the
with all your-
Mad
podcast.
with all
at
your
him?
questions, and I'm gonna.
Okay, I have a
prove
question.
to you-
These
I'm gonna prove
pictures
to
you
the
have-
Earth is flat.
These
gonna
pictures you
prove to you,
have of the sun going down by the horizon and then coming back up. Where are these taken?
Approximately at.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Because this is like somewhere like in the northern
Right,
hemisphere.
it's in the northern. It's the northern. Okay, sorry. It's in the Royal Belgian. This is the Royal Belgian Geographic Society and the expedition. It's an Antarctic bulge or something recorded during the most severe part of the Antarctic winter, whatever. That's when it was taken.
So that makes sense for not it being flat.
All right,
so I got a
exactly.
question.
If it was going on perfect sphere, go ahead, keep going.
I got a question.
No,
because
the Earth is like not like this. It's like this, right? So it's
Yeah.
like a sphere that's tilted this direction. So the poles are going like this. So that direction would be facing towards the sun, and even as it turns, it would be getting slightly lower on the horizon, but it would never go completely over the horizon.
Did you
So
see
that-
my first? Did you see my first picture I sent? That's the flat Earth part.
Let me see.
So
That's
if
the
you
flat
look
Earth
at a
map.
sphere from the top, it looks slightly flat from a two-dimensional plane.
Mhm.
This doesn't calculate like depth. This is a 2D image.
All right, exactly. But I'm just saying,
Exactly.
though.
Exactly.
Wait. I'm just saying. But this one right here, this picture right here explains it all. Right here, this right here. You see
Which
the flat,
one?
like over 25,000.
Which one,
Which one?
Steve?
25,000
There's
miles.
like 8 of them.
The Atlanteanconspiracy.com.
No, the
one?
one I sent at 10:54 a.m. That one right there.
1054.
If
Okay.
there was a visible horizon and the world was a sphere, you'd be able to see the curvature, wouldn't you?
No.
Dude,
because
the
it's
Earth
so
is
big.
gigantic.
Yeah. It wouldn't just be like, oh, hey, we're not sitting on a fucking egg that's like 2 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Here's the thing. Here's something in the flat Earth theory, whatever the hell it is that they got going on. Does the Earth rotate with the flat
They say-
Earth? They say it does.
No, they say.
No, this is
Yeah,
what
it's
the Earth
going
does,
like this.
apparently.
It's like
It goes like
it's
this.
like a pancake. It's just going wow, wow, wow.
No,
that
it
doesn't rotate at
Stop
all.
it.
It doesn't
Like
rotate at all.
this.
That's where it comes into effect. Is it basically they go around us, pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Shut up.
Well, then we wouldn't have weather.
The
okay?
sun goes around
Because-
us.
Oh wait,
one of
but
the
what is this, guys? If the
Duh.
Earth was spinning so fast and everything, what's keeping us here? Really, why aren't we all flying off the Earth? Why isn't the water?
Gravitational
Why-
I was
pull.
just gonna say gravity.
Yeah. Okay, so like, why couldn't gravity just work on a flat Earth? Why couldn't it work on a flat Earth though?
Yeah, I mean it could. It just doesn't.
I
Because
just
it's not
don't
flat.
know. I don't know if we could know if it could or it couldn't because nothing exists out in the world that's
Well,
just
if it
flat.
was flat, then there wouldn't be like magnetic poles.
Yeah, that's
in
what I would
the
think
Earth.
too.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I got this for you, man. If we're on a freaking spinning ball,
Yeah.
why couldn't an air balloon just like float up above like
Gravity.
the ground and just stay in that same spot, and then the Earth would just spin underneath them?
Well,
And
think about
eventually,
it.
I would get to the destination I want to get to.
Wait, there's
That's
wind.
exactly what the International Space Station is doing. The Earth is spinning and it's also orbiting the Earth at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going so fast.
All right, but on those International Space Stations, though, when you look at the horizon on the International Space Station, it's flat.
No, it's not.
No, it is. I got a picture right here. Hold on, let me send it.
You're such a
There's a
troll.
picture.
You're such a troll.
There is a picture. There is a picture for it.
Okay.
There is a picture. Okay,
Alright,
so
also,
by the
if
way,
we were living on a giant
by the
ball-
way, rotation is one.
Oh
of
my
the
god,
three
dude! Here's
factors
a
that
live. Here is a live fucking feed from the International Space Station. Just open that up right now. Take a look. There's a fucking curve. I can see it already.
Hold on, one
Look
second.
at the
hold on.
fucking thumbnail. It's a curve. In the thumbnail, it's a curve.
But
One of the
that
three
is just
major-
NASA. That is just NASA showing you what it wants to show you. That's it.
It's
That's
Photoshop.
I'm done, dude. I'm
completely
done.
Photoshop.
I'm done. I'm
completely
done.
altered, man.
I'm no more.
Hold on,
right,
hold on a
Steve.
second.
All right,
Steve. So one of the
What I'm trying to get at
You
is,
can go. You can go now.
what I'm trying to get at is that people have their different, I guess, their different perspectives on things, and I've been watching 100 of these videos, like
I'm
just because
sorry.
I'm just trying to think
In their
like
shoes.
what grasps the concept of this. But
Ian,
like, you know,
this is
I
where
was
we
watching-
take that 5% from military spending and put it on education, and these people will figure it out.
Okay, I'm sold.
Okay.
Take
There
it.
is so much on this, you guys. This is why I wanted to revisit it, because there's so many people that
You have
believe
Stockholm
this
syndrome.
strongly, man. I'm not even kidding you. There's so much like stuff
And that
theorized on
saddens
it.
me because that just means a lack of education. Like,
So much, dude. It's just
I mean, people also really wholeheartedly believes that there was aliens behind Halley's Comet, and they went so far as to kill themselves because they believed it. People are capable of believing false things to an absurd degree. So
All right,
just
another
because
thing-
there's like a lot of passion doesn't mean that it's right.
And there's one guy, he was explaining a lot too. Like on YouTube, he was going like, he was saying Neil deGrasse Tyson was a big hero of his, and like when he was watching the Cosmos, they said that, you know, don't ever take anything for granted. Like if you have a theory, stick to it, because, you know, it could be wrong. Science is wrong all the time.
True.
And like it showed, like all of a sudden he said, that being said, he cut to a whole bunch of things like Neil deGrasse Tyson telling people about the flat Earth, just saying like, look, this is gravity, and drops the mic. You know what I mean, like that. And just saying like the Earth isn't fucking flat, like he said it flat out and everything like that. And he's basically going back on what he's saying as far as like, if you got a theory, stick to it. I guess that's what the guy was getting at.
Right.
But
and perhaps he should have kept his mouth shut on that point. Like
I-
maybe he made a bad
You ever
comment.
notice-
Like, I take that back now.
You ever
I mean,
no-
we're all human though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
You ever
You have-
notice that, like,
Yeah, go
when
ahead.
you go on a plane one way, it takes X amount of time, but when you go the other way, it's a little quicker.
Way less.
Yeah.
That's
It's because
because
of the rotation.
the paper is just floating through space and it's
that's
going
another
in
thing
one
too. They're
direction.
saying if we were living on a giant ball, an airplane would constantly have to dip its nose at the same time. If not, it would find itself over 80,000 feet in just a half an hour, and as soon as it would be floating around in outer space.
Why?
That's if it went directly out. If it went directly
But
up.
they're saying if they were going like on the plane and they had constantly have to dip down so they wouldn't be like going straight out into space.
I don't understand.
They're also saying the moon gets its light not from the reflection of the sun, but it gets it from the heat of the earth, which reflects its light back out.
Yeah, that doesn't make no sense.
So why is there
Okay.
moon cycles? Why are there different moon phases? What is
All right,
the
well, they're
issue?
they're just saying it's just going around us. That's pretty much it.
And
Well-
it's sometimes it sucks the heat up, but then sometimes it's not, and that's why it's a new moon.
Listen, we wouldn't have.
Yeah, the
we
moon
wouldn't
thing's
have
great.
like we wouldn't have
The
severe
moon
weather.
is smart, man.
Very
It's
smart.
sentient, made of cheese, and
We
can
would-
suck light.
We wouldn't have
Another
severe
thing-
weather like we have if we didn't have rotation.
She's sucking like
That's
meat
one of, like,
moon.
three main factors for like
No.
weather.
No, another thing is they're saying why isn't there spherical water?
What?
What?
Spherical water.
Spherical water. Yeah, how come we can't see spherical water?
What does that even mean?
How is that even
Yeah.
staying? Because they say that the Nile River like has constantly, or the rivers, they constantly flow down at a certain spot. How come they're saying that? I guess one river, I forgot what the name of the river. One river's flowing this way and the other one's flowing this way. If it was constantly spinning, wouldn't they all be flowing the same way? And wouldn't it be flying off the earth pretty much? Like if you take like normal water and it's
There's no flying off the earth thing. The gravity is taking care of all the flying off the earth stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, throw that
anything
aside.
Just go flying
And
off.
they're also trying to disprove gravity too. They're saying if gravity is so strong to keep everything here, how come we can jump in the air or little
my
tiny
God,
birds
dude,
can
are
take
you
off and
kidding?
fly and everything like that? Dude, I've been
That's like
reading about
neat.
this forever, and I'm honestly I'm starting to believe it. It's crazy.
You're such a liar. You're such a troll.
So
You're
So-
upsetting Alan. He has a migraine.
Steve, I have a question.
Alan's gonna cry.
You're upsetting him.
You're making him cry,
Fuck is on
Steve.
the other side of the piece
These guys
of
are setting us back hundreds of years in science and technology advancements and educational advancements. This is like going to Stone Age stuff, Stone Age thinking.
It's pretty bad.
I understand. I'm just I was just going back at it because we did actually get a lot of not a lot of, but like one YouTube comment, like, you know, calling us certain things, and then some people strongly believe in it.
One
but,
called us the Brady Gays, and I love that comment.
Yes.
I
That's
still
yes.
need to know which one is Alice.
Brady
Which
Gays.
one's Marsha?
I was like, I so want a shirt.
well,
of
okay,
all
I
the
would say,
start
I would
looking
say
like this.
Call
Rocco.
it in like hashtag Brady Gays.
Okay, I'm gonna
Brady
read
Gays.
one of the comments real quick if you guys don't mind.
I think Rocco is Marsha. I think that's
Marsha?
What?
Marsha.
Yeah, I'm
Marsha.
pretty sure.
Oh yeah, he's
Rocco's
definitely Marsha.
Have a Snickers.
yeah.
So is Steven the maid?
He might be Alice. I might be Alice.
Can I be Alice?
Ellis.
Always
No, I want to be
Shit.
I want to be Peter,
You want to be Peter? You can be
just because of
Peter.
the name.
Yeah.
You are a big Peter.
Okay, so read that comment.
All right. Okay. He says, "All right, you guys are a bunch of program robots talking and yucking it up with each other. Earth is flat. We have no unaltered pictures of global Earth from space. There should be 266 feet of curvature over 20 miles, yet it's measured nowhere. You guys need to do some research before having an ignorant discussion."
That's great.
And then I said, "Please tell me you're
grade
joking."
School. That was our research.
Yeah.
exactly.
And then
It's not a perfect ball though, if you think about it. Like
Yeah,
Earth
no,
isn't
it's-
just a perfect smooth circle. No, there's mountains, there's different ridges and everything. Yeah, it's not gonna be, but there's a constant curvature. So these people are crazy. And what the fuck is on the other side? And something physically has to be on the other side, and they can't even prove that. So does everything
that's
just
NASA. That's
Then
NASA.
where's the
and they're hiding
cliffs?
it. They're hiding it, man.
Okay, where's the cliffs?
Oh,
Hiding
right.
it. I'm just
Well,
wondering.
Christopher
like,
Columbus fucking went around on the ocean and shit like that. Didn't he go around? Wait, who went around the world in the ocean? That wasn't Christopher Columbus.
He went to go looking for India, and he
Yeah.
landed on North
Yeah,
America.
but there was someone that sailed around the whole world.
Jacques Cousteau.
Oh snap! There's someone who flew around the world, wasn't that?
True.
Amelia.
what-
No.
Yeah.
Did
Amelia
Amelia?
Amelia Earhart.
Earnhardt?
There's other people.
She actually flew around the world though.
Flew around.
What?
Yeah, that was another thing too. I was just gonna say. I had some questions, like if the Earth.
Oh, she
was
also disappeared, by the way, guys, didn't she?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll mention
Oh,
She
that.
fell
yeah,
off.
she got
She
to
fell
the
off
other
the
side
side
of
of the Earth.
Yeah.
Just fell off into space.
If the Earth was flat too.
Why? Okay,
Like,
I have a question.
would
Why
there
is
be
this
an
being covered
atmosphere?
up? If it really is flat, like why is NASA? Like why? What are they covering up? What don't they want us to know?
How do earthquakes happen if it's flat?
Yeah,
Our
that's a good one.
exact
Yeah, plate
That's a
tectonics.
good
Like,
one. Yeah,
so
plate
do you-
tectonics.
Like,
If plates are
But-
flat, they could still have earthquakes.
what
I
are the
wish
plates on?
Yeah,
I
but
would,
when-
they
when-
are
when
explaining
the
that in
plate
there
just
too. I
fall
just
off?
don't remember what it was. They said something about like
Right.
that there is no like pole shift or there is no like.
Wait, and if it's
as
flat,
far as the stars, they said the stars have been in the same spots for like thousands of years.
Okay,
or something.
on
They
that
said-
point,
Wow,
by the
that's
way,
just-
there's these Aborigines that are in like way up northern Canada, way like Eskimos kind of deal. They said recently there's been an article that's been written on them. They said that climate change. This is their view. Climate change is not a human created event going on. That what it actually is a pole shifting that's occurring, and that their stars are changing. They don't look at the same sky that they looked at a few hundred years ago.
yeah, I mean we have photo evidence.
They're saying that it's like there actually is a change in their stars that they're seeing, and this is something that they navigate on constantly. And they're saying the weather's dramatically changing, where it's starting to warm up faster.
Isn't that because not only is like the galaxy and the Earth and the solar system all
Constantly
rotating, that we're also rapidly expanding?
Yeah.
right? Because it's like almost like a bomb.
Yep.
I'm
Something
not
like
sure.
that.
They were saying though that the stars are changing to them. I mean, and I don't know how many. This guy I watched on YouTube, like the one that you had posted, Steve, that says the skies aren't changing. I mean, how many of us go outside
see
and look at the
new
stars every day
stars
and even
form.
know like what we're looking at? To be honest, how many of us are actually like educated? Like that guy on YouTube, I doubt he's educated on what stars are supposed to be
Well,
where at,
I'm
and
just-
he looks at them every day to notice
just-
whether they're changing or not.
I'm just wondering too, like if the flat Earth was rotating, just in a perfect, say we're like just standing on top of something and we're rotating, right? And there is water on it, and they're arguing about the spinning sphere, just going like, and the water would fly off of it. If you put water on a
Yeah,
flat
on a plate
surface,
that spins, it
it's
flies
gonna
off too.
fly off too.
Yeah.
So
It,
I mean, I guess you can go both ways
Yeah,
too.
and
honestly.
why-
But that's
okay.
what I was saying. They're saying it's not rotating though, right?
I think that's
Okay, because that would
that's a
make the
fact.
water not fly off.
But we know it.
Right.
No. We know it rotates
And
around the
that's
sun.
where the pendulum effect comes in. Like on the other side, there's a pendulum. That's what's keeping everything down.
What?
There's like a giant pendulum kind of thing like that. It's already
Spaghetti
got,
monster,
like,
I hope,
something
eats
like
all
that.
of them.
All right.
Dude, these
It's
guys
like-
watched way too many episodes of Lost.
Yeah.
It's going like down like that, and it's
Steve, if
Pendulum's
water
going
is
this way.
on the, what's keeping water from falling off the edge?
the atmosphere is keeping it
No,
down
it's fucking dumb.
with that.
Hey,
and then
it's fucking
here's the
dumb.
Ian, you were thinking of Magellan.
Ah,
Magellan went around the Earth.
he's been looking it up the entire time trying to find it. That's why he's been quiet. He's like, "Who's that
So-
guy that flew around the?" Oh, I
So
can't hear you.
really, there's a spaghetti monster on the other side of the earth, just holding it up all together, and he keeps everything in line.
No, we're all flying on the back of a giant turtle that's swimming through space.
No, I've seen this before. That's the last Aladdin. That's the last Aladdin. The one with the dad, King of Thieves. That was a good one too.
I
Alright,
think he was
well-
thinking of the never-ending story.
I actually on that note, guys, I have to actually leave. But I just want to say to you guys out there, the flat Earth conspiracist or theorist or whatever like that, keep doing what you're doing if you want.
Yeah, you great entertainment.
Please put comments down below.
And then leave the country and go make your own island.
Steve-O, do us
Do
a
it.
favor, though. Do us a favor while you're gone. Please don't fall off the edge of the earth. We need you next week.
Yeah.
I'm
don't-
actually on expedition. That wasn't actually. I
You know what I'm
want
gonna
to say
do,
this last
Steve?
thing before I go.
My
too.
next plane ride, I'm gonna let the pilot know that he needs to dip down his nose.
They
Otherwise,
were
we're gonna throw
saying they were
80,000
saying that explorers that were in Antarctica and like near the poles constantly with their maps constantly found themselves like 26 to like 36 miles like off course compared to what their maps. Now I said if they were going by the flat earth one, they would actually be fine.
How is Alaska and Russia so close to each other?
I don't know. Did you like see some of the maps though? Like there's so many different maps for the whole thing. Like
Okay, I need to look at that because
And they're-
if it's flat in Alaska and Russia, like they don't wrap around.
and that's going to be the argument essentially. I guarantee someone's going to put in the comments like, "Look, man, have you guys went and explored the Earth yourself?"
Okay.
Or, like, have you guys been
Okay.
exploring
Have
the
they?
Earth? Like you've been
Yeah, have
exactly
they?
like
So for
Exactly.
any of you
That's what I'm
guys,
saying.
you flat earthers out there, and you're listening to what we have to say, and you think we're ignorant assholes, please put up some sources, cite some sources, write down in the comments what your argument is and why you feel that it is that way, and maybe I'll have another discussion about it. See if it's
And I have
actually
been-
something worth talking about.
and I actually have been looking up all the resources and everything like that.
Good.
I
Thank
put the
you.
links
Well-
in here. There's so many. There's over 200 different proofs on why the Earth is
Oh, man.
flat, not a sphere.
So,
Wow.
Thank you,
my-
B.O.B.
Yeah,
for your Flat Earth album that came out and you decided to promote with it, and now you've got a whole bunch of people confused.
I'll definitely talk to my father-in-law about flying because he's an ex-military pilot, so he'll have a lot.
Yeah,
to
no,
say
I
on that
like.
too.
I know. I've
Yeah, there you
seen
go.
different like flying conspiracies too in here. Like,
He'll be like, "Bro, you don't even know. I had to dip my nose down constantly because I would have flew right up
all
there."
day.
They don't tell you this. They don't tell you this is one of those secrets.
All right,
man.
Steve-O, look, be
this is gonna
careful
be
over
bad.
there in Africa. If you see any lions, just run. Just let us know when you
Dude,
land
he's in a
safely.
way more dangerous place called Florida.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
down, Sharon.
Zombie eating faces, lions, tigers, bears, and oh my.
Let's move on to our next topic.
See you guys.
Take care.
Adios, Steve.
Yeah.
See you, Steve.
Who's up next that has to potentially leave?
I might have to leave. Well, what time is it? No, I'm good.
14.
I'm good.
Let's go to
As
your
long as
topic.
we finish.
Let's go to your topic just in case.
Okay, I want to talk about the Miitomo.
Yeah.
Miitomo. Miitomo.
Oh.
The hell is that?
So-
tell me now. Tell me now.
Okay. do it now.
It is a fucking weird game.
I have no idea.
While you're doing that, I'm
Jason,
resetting
a
up
friend of
stuff.
mine from college just said, "Hey, make Miitomo because it just got released yesterday." And it's basically Nintendo released a app / game thing for phones and tablets that is where you make a little avatar character for yourself and you ask it questions and you can like give it a voice and everything, so it actually says everything that you
Oh, cool.
tell it and you
Yeah.
answer its questions. And then I haven't really quite figured out what the purpose of it is, but you can also it goes over to like your friends' houses and it'll just like come in the door and it'll be like, hey, like here's some questions that I like. They asked you, and now I'm going to talk to you about them.
Like
So
app
it's
wise, like go over to your friend's house app wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll like
Yeah.
come onto my character's like house
Yeah.
and be like, oh hey, like what's your favorite bread? My favorite bread is blah blah blah, and it'll say whatever that other person had said before, like what their favorite bread is, and ask you. You can
So it's
also
like a
link
new
it.
like social, sort of like social.
It is very social
notification
media
kind of thing?
because like they'll say a comment and then you can like heart it, like it, or you can comment on it.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand if that's like all it is just like another social media
It sounds
experiment,
like it,
which is like a
yeah.
little bit more interactive.
Yeah.
But I know that I haven't done this, but you can link it to your Nintendo account if you have like a Nintendo Wii or something, or just any of those systems, and you can play like games. And I'm guessing, again, I haven't checked this out, so I'm not sure if anybody has done this with Miitomo. Let us know in the comments. It's gonna be like Mario Party, where you can do like party games with your friends or something.
That's
on
very cool.
The app.
Yeah.
But again, you need a Nintendo account, which I don't have or haven't made one yet.
Isn't this
So I'm
kind of
not sure.
like what was that PlayStation attempt that they did where it was like they're trying to make like the virtual
Oh,
people?
Home?
Yeah,
PlayStation
Home, I think,
was what it was
kind of thing
called,
like
yeah.
that, almost in a way. Like
I
mean,
don't
a little
know.
bit different, but
I never had that either, so maybe you can explain like what that was supposed to
I
be.
mean,
Was that
it was similar. It was just like it was like instead of you being able to answer through and more like a social media aspect where you can kind of like and you can voice your own stuff. It was just like a character you kind of walked around with homes and stuff. And
Yeah, because there's a whole
you can watch
shopping.
TV with a friend that another friend that had PlayStation. You can go to their home and you could actually like watch.
Oh, right, yeah.
Kind of watch together the movie on a couch virtually. So it was like
That's weird.
like Sims, in a way.
Yeah, that's kind of what this reminds me of too. Actually, it's kind of like Sims, and
But you
right
only
now
get-
it seems quite limited on what all it asks you, like the questions. Like I don't know why it keeps asking me about bread. Like
Can
I'm
you
just like,
make
dude,
up other questions, or
I
is
don't
it?
like
I
bread.
don't think so. I don't
No, you
think so.
can't. You can't.
I think
No.
it has like pre-made questions.
How do you
it's like,
spell
what are you,
this, by
what
the
are you
way?
doing right now? Me, M-I-I, like M-I-I-T-O-M-O, me
Okay.
Tomo. So make an account and try
check
it out.
it all out. Yeah.
See what it's like, because
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the point. Yeah, so it's like I just started it.
Okay. I
Here's
just went
me.
to
Oh,
I just
okay,
went to
gotcha.
Alan's house.
Do you
Oh,
have
yeah.
a mustache?
I just went
No,
to
that's
Alan's
my
place.
that's my mouth.
Oh man,
You could go to
Look, see, there's me on Clay's screen.
Yeah.
So this is cool.
oh wow.
So and
So it's asked me, hey, what's been going on lately?
it says
and then
butt sauce to you, good friend.
Butt
Because you
sauce,
must
yeah.
have you must
Did
have
it say
edited
butt
your
sauce?
your
so I
greetings.
can you can change your greetings. So when I go over to friends' houses or whatever, and my greeting when I go to a house is butt sauce, good friend, or butt sauce to you.
yeah,
butt
butt sauce to you, good friend.
So it says, what's been going on lately? And then I can say, what's been going on? I'm doing the podcast with the Maelstrom Gamers.
What do you think makes Alan happy? And I get to answer. And it's just between him and I. And
Ah.
I'm
Butt
gonna
sauce.
say butt sauce.
So here we go. I said, I'm doing the podcast with the Maelstrom Gamers. Wait. Okay.
I'm doing the podcast with the Maelstrom Gamers.
I'll be right back.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Ooh,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yerp.
Right.
So yeah. So that's what it'll do. Like if somebody gets on to this Miitomo thing right now, they'll be like, Alan is lately right. What he's doing right now is he's doing the podcast with the Maelstrom Gamers. So I just got Clay's like little thing to pop up.
Okay. Apparently, this is Blue Bomber's favorite food: chicken.
This is
Chicken.
Blue Bomber's favorite food is chicken.
So this is like so have they left it like open for people to expand upon it, or is it like something they're developing themselves and they just kind of like release for like a beta test, or is it like actually open, ready to go, and that's all you get? Like you said, it was limited on the questions that were asked. So
Yeah, I guess since it's just released, they're just seeing what people are going to be doing with it. What I'm actually really curious to do is make like not my character, but like a different character
yeah.
in it. So I want to make what's his name's character from The Fifth Element, Ruby Rod, like Chris
Oh
Tucker's
yeah.
character.
Yeah.
And just like have him like say the most like annoying shit from that movie, like whenever I'm going around, and make my character look like him. But the thing is,
That'd be hilarious.
the clothing store right now is pretty limited. It doesn't have
So
like.
so
the
if
stuff.
I got this downloaded and I didn't friend you, could you still like interact with me?
No, it would only be on people on your friends list, I think.
Okay.
And
so
do you
it's
know
like,
who it is though? Like if I made like a made up a name and stuff like that, do you know it says like Ian
No.
at all?
No, it only shows you your nickname.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna make the Terminator.
This is a cool different thing. I was just thinking the same thing. We both said, at the same time. I was like, man, what could I do?
Yeah,
here?
that's why I was like, okay, should I make my name just Alan? Like that's that's just like everybody will know who it is. But Clay,
Yeah.
like he put his name as Blue Bomber, like his handle on video games. So it's like
I'm gonna
only
make
if you
mine
knew him.
Rocco.
That'd be so
Only if you
terrible.
knew him could you like actually hook up. Like I
That'd be
mean,
so bad.
how it finds friends right now is like through Facebook or like
Facebook?
Twitter or something.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of knows like the account people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know? But
I'm gonna totally make one for you, Rocco, and just say the dirtiest stuff to people.
So it'd be like, what's your favorite bread? Suck mud.
You can, yeah,
You can?
yeah. You can write whatever you want, and it
yeah,
says
you
it.
can write anything, and it'll say it back. Yeah, it'll say it. There's
Oh,
like no
yes.
filtering.
And then what's
Oh,
really
wait.
weird is
Cool.
like when you see your friends, they have a bunch. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but they have a bunch of their answers, and it's all question marks because you haven't heard it yet. You haven't like engaged with them, but somehow you can get candy, and you can use candy to like give to somebody to like
To
hear
get
their
the answer,
Yeah,
make it unknown. Yeah.
to bypass it.
guys,
That's awesome.
we need to make one for Steven.
Oh,
Do it
nice.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that'd be good.
And he won't know unless he watches this
So-
podcast.
Oh,
Clay's coming over to visit.
oh, really?
Clay's coming over to visit.
He's so excited.
So what kind of interactions can you do besides just asking questions
That's
and
it.
liking?
It's
That's
it's
it. Okay.
interviewing the game, and it's basically like just interviewing your friends, questions of
But
current
based
events.
off of what the game wants you to interview
yeah,
with.
yeah, and then you get to comment on that, and then you can.
Oh,
ask
it's
it-
Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason looks so good.
Awesome.
His voice
Jason's
actually sounds
hairstyle
like him
is-
too.
No way.
Yeah, I think it
Oh, it's
does.
awesome. I liked his hair.
No, he has got a beanie on.
He's like,
Oh,
I thought it was a
that's
Dragon
fair.
Ball Z style hair. I was
Yeah.
like, yes.
No.
What's up, my dude?
So I'll have
So
to.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what the point of this is, but Yukiko and I were like on this for like half an hour, just like sitting like doing our Miitomo thing last night. Like we weren't sure what was addicting about it, but we like could not stop playing with
That's
it.
weird.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it on Facebook, and I was like, oh, what is this thing?
And then you can just shop, and you can like, it's
Listen
crazy.
to Jason. Listen to Jason.
I recently made this sweet purchase. I just bought a new mattress.
It kind of sounds
I'm
like him, I
pretty
think.
He sounds
I
like a
don't know.
robot.
I mean, they definitely all sound robotic. Yeah, for sure.
And then
I bought a new
the
mattress.
other cool thing is that it like just uses the camera to get your face, and then it just starts pumping out customized faces based off what it sees on your face. So it's like, oh, you probably look like this, you look like that, and I got like 20 things to like choose from, which is pretty interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it could auto customize you. And
That's
then,
what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if this is like still somewhat under development, and they haven't told anybody yet, and they're just kind of like
oh no,
collecting
it's
a lot
it's
of data and
featured
information
in
so they can
iOS.
just, like build, huh?
It's featured on iOS. Like they've
Yeah.
they've gone nuts, and they are adding new stuff to it. It's really it's
Okay.
it's fascinating.
Guys, this is the start. We're all just gonna live in a pod and then have virtual
No,
realities.
totally. And then we'll have
That's it.
Oh, good segue here. Good segue here.
Exactly.
And we'll all go into this with our little holoportation.
Oh.
Rocco, why don't you take us to our next topic about holoportation?
Here,
We'll never get
so-
injured. We'll never get injured.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys want to go check this out, go to YouTube real quick. Holoportation is something you want to look up. It's in collaboration with Microsoft. They use their HoloLens, their virtual reality headset. But Holoportation is where it's a new 3D capturing cameras that will be placed around you like at 4 different angles at different heights too as well. Is what I was seeing in the video. One looked like it was at like 2 feet. One looked like it was at 7 feet. One was at like 3 feet. Kind of getting different angles, and it'll capture video of you walking around within the area of those
Like a
cameras.
motion capture.
Yes, exactly. And then it'll also capture texture too as well, and it'll be able to send this data over to somebody else that has the same kind of system that can put on a virtual reality headset, and it'll look as if you guys are there socially, like right next to each other, being able to hang out, have a good time. So this is like a brand new technology that's just coming. It's just coming out right now. I saw TED Talks on it too as well. There's a lot of room for growth with it and opportunities with it. And it feels like it even writes it in the video itself is like it's like the Star Wars like holographic kind of feel,
It's coming to life. Star Wars is coming to life.
What's different than just doing the Skype call though? Because I'm
Okay,
actually
so,
seeing
like,
the real version of you and hearing your voice and everything.
right. So, I
now.
mean, it still looks fairly U-ish, 3D-ish, kind of mixed together. I mean, they're doing the best that they can right now. I could tell that there's some contrast issues, some different things and stuff. But I think the cool thing would be that it's so interactive. Like you're talking about right now with this game, the Miitomo,
Yeah.
is that you're able to be interactive with these individuals, like in the social media kind of aspect. Like, I think this is like, okay, so you guys are thousands of miles away right now. I can't be able. I can hang out with you through Skype 2D wise. Okay.
Yeah.
But now we can incorporate it 3D wise, where it's as if we're sitting here one another, being able to do high fives or even play chess with one another, or do anything like interactive together within a room. So
Yeah, but
it has other capabilities too as well. And one of the ones that I liked a lot was that it can actually record the data that happens within that like session. And the cool thing about that is that when it records that data, you can revisit that data almost like revisiting a memory, like in the Harry Potter scene when they go into the thing. It's like you can go back into it. You can put on your virtual reality headset, and because it's been recording from all different angles, you can literally walk around that recording and see all the different things that were happening while that recording was going on.
So
and
I
you
can see if you're
shrink it and
cheating
size.
while playing bridge.
You got it. Yeah. You can so you're
Ah.
playing each other, right? You could then, when you go look at the recording, walk around the recording that was happening and
That's
see,
awesome.
oh, that was the cards that he had or whatever had happened there.
And you can scale it too.
Yeah, you can scale
That
it.
is
So
pretty
it's like
cool, yeah.
it was normal, regular size. You can scale it down to
wow.
right there on your table if you want to, so you can get a better view of it. I think the possibilities of this kind of technology, like we were talking about virtual reality about 2 weeks ago, it's just like
That's awesome, man.
it's
Well,
endless. I feel,
Yeah.
you know.
think about like like football games or soccer matches and stuff like that, where you can just go
talking-
boom and have it like on a table and have all your friends sitting around like, oh, look
Yeah,
at that.
exactly. Like you're watching the soccer game
So-
right there on the table, and you're all got your virtual reality
So
headset.
StubHub is actually selling tickets, virtual reality tickets to people.
Yep.
No.
So they fill the seats and then they have extra seats. So for sold out concerts and sold out football
I
games,
told you guys they were
actually
gonna do
get
this,
a
right?
VR seat and you
I
can.
told you there was companies working together that are building virtual reality stadiums that they're
Yeah.
going to place the recording inside of, so that it feels like you're really there. Like there's and Clay mentioned last time on VR, porn. Think
Yeah.
about these things, like the different direction that all this different stuff.
Well,
is
you
going.
need
There's
sensation.
some angles you don't want to see though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Damn
But-
it, cameraman. Not there. Not there.
You need. I think.
Well, you're the cameraman. You
with,
know what I mean?
with
Like,
porn
Yeah.
and like other things, like it would be interesting to have like actual sensations. Like you mentioned the high five. Like we
Yeah.
can high five, but it's gonna
Yeah.
gonna lose that physical.
the TED Talk actually speaks
Yeah.
about this part. So that one that you guys watched, that video you watched there's a TED Talk one that speaks that the next direction they're going on to is that it creates sensation. So if you go to push on something, there could be a push back, and you would feel that, or heat from
Where-
some
what
digital.
would you generate that though? What would
I
generate-
am not
You'd have
sure
to
as
wear,
of
like, a
right
suit,
now. He
right?
was
Or
Yeah, you have to
speaking
wear.
about it. Something was going on. He was saying that that's the direction that they're moving into right now, but he didn't elaborate on like the technology that they have that can create that. So it's like that what we were talking about, like the secret of the company kind of thing. Who knows if they're already got technology being developed that's capable of doing that? But he was
The
saying
only
that's the
thing-
direction they're moving into.
The only thing I can see is that once you'd have to wear like a head thing that had some sort of like neurological connection to your brain to send a type of signal that you get when you like touch somebody's hand or something. That would be the only way I could see it. It's something that can like
Oh, man, that's
fire
crazy.
stuff in your brain that makes it feel like that without actually having to touch it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes you like false sense that you're doing
That's
it. Or,
insane.
I mean,
So-
actually, that's a good question. Are you actually doing it if your brain makes you feel like you're doing it?
Well,
Ah.
that's the thing that happens in dreams and stuff too, right? Our brain assimilates that we're actually going through
Yeah.
some fearful thing when you're getting chased by a zombie, and you wake up and you're in a dead sweat.
that's
and
why
your
you
heart's
And it's
It's
racing.
realistic. But it's realistic.
Your
Okay.
your physiology is going through all the different emotions and the feelings that you
Emotions,
go
but
through.
pinching, like you can't feel, and that was a key sign.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I have a
and
funny
you're saying in a
story.
dream.
Yeah.
In a dream. Right.
Well,
And they
so-
say that.
so-
Yeah.
So we're on this dream topic, and I definitely need to tell you guys this story. So the other night I'm having a dream, okay, and
gosh.
I sleep like this, with my on my arm underneath my pillow,
Yeah.
on my side, and I guess like I was having a dream. I remember the dream. I was chasing someone at work, and I was reaching out for them because they did something to me, and I'm like chasing them, trying to grab them, and all I could do was grab their hair, and I
Oh,
pulled
gosh.
back, and
was it-
apparently my hand was right next to my wife's
Yeah.
head, and I
Oh no!
and like starting a lawnmower. I hate it.
What a great way to wake up.
Yeah, she must have been
Aye.
so pissed. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't happy, but
Oh man, that would hurt.
That's awesome.
I did something similar happened to me. This was not intentional. This had nothing to do with what was happening in my dream. But I had been sleeping on my arm and had fallen asleep. And then whatever in the dream, I was like rolling over to like avoid something, and my dead arm, like just full dead weight, smacked Yukiko right in the head. Like it was just like full. She's just like, "What the fuck?" And I was just like, "Oh, sorry," but I couldn't do anything because my arm was asleep.
And you're
I'd
also
been
3
sleeping
times
on
the
it.
size of her, so
Yeah.
your arm
Yeah.
hitting her is like...
oh man,
It's like a
This was
tree
like-
hitting
this
her
was like
face.
6 years ago or something, and I
God.
never forgot it because I felt so bad. I was just like, I can't do anything. My arm's asleep.
All right, so back on topic real quick. This technology is being used currently right now for exploration of other planets, like Mars, for example. So Curiosity rover is going around right now and recording a bunch of data, and they're able to imprint this data into a like virtual reality kind of system where a person can put on a headset and be able to walk around in this environment and see everything through these high definition photographs that they stitch together to create a virtual space. So they can now explore other areas of like say Mars that's only had pictures kind of taken. Now they're not exploring, they're exploring what's been the images
2D
that they
images that they
yes,
stick together.
exactly. I mean, so at some point I think eventually they might be it
They
could
need
be
a rig on the rover that is like shooting in all directions
Right.
with like
Yep.
with like fisheye lenses.
Eventually you're going to start to see things like that. I think that what they were talking about is that they're going to go in a direction of like our children's children might be able to at that point be able to like put on these virtual reality headsets and go and like legitly explore space and other things because of the fact that they have, you know, different satellites or different rovers all over different areas with the capability of sending the data that you can create a virtual like landscape for yourself and go experience. And on the TED Talks, it's like it's pretty wild because they actually do create a lot of 3D environments that look like extremely real that he's able to like interact with that only when you're wearing the VR headset can you see and stuff.
you know what we should do with that technology? Video like a greeting and just shoot it off into space, just as fast and as far as we can go. So some
Well,
other
that-
life forms can get our message.
You know, like have you know what the singularity is? When our technology has gotten like more advanced that we're like almost it's more advanced than human beings basically, and we're more like slaves to this like it basically is like we transcend our normal humanity. And
The
become,
computers and
like,
humans are
like
one.
are one basically. So
Yeah.
we travel through like the internet basically and can go wherever we want. Anything that has like any sort of computer electrical
Now,
signal we
what
can
is
like
this?
transport
Is
through.
this some type of theory? Is this something that's like what
This is
this?
this is a theory that we will reach this point within a X
certain
amount of
amount.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
X amount of years that it will be like assimilated into one like new species basically.
Right.
Is what is like the idea is, and that's kind of what it sounds like by when you said our children like taking a tour of Mars or like
Right.
a tour of like an outer ring of Jupiter or something,
Right.
of Saturn or something. You know.
Or Clay, you know, exploring a porn site.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about it, right?
But,
So
I
you
mean,
put those
plus with
cameras,
like what I was
you
saying,
put those
like
cameras around
you know,
a bed, and like you've got.
when you get this, if you're getting the sensations and everything, then it's like I think that's a close step to that point where
Yeah.
you know it makes me think of the movie Minority Report. If you guys remember that
Yeah.
one, he goes into that one place where he's trying to get the memories out of this girl, but then like there's all these guys in the pod and they're just like living out these crazy whatever things they want to do inside these pods, and it's basically like their reality, right?
Well,
Yeah, the
think
jail
about
kind of
this.
area that you're talking about, like the jail, like they're
Not
like
the jail.
pods
No.
in the jail, like
No, this one the guy he already has the girl out of the pods and everything, and he's trying to get her
Yeah.
memories out, and he goes to like this hacker guy.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
And he goes and like everybody, like a guy's like you know like doing like a
Yep.
porn thing, and a guy
Yep.
was like, I want to kill my boss, you know, like
Yeah,
that's what he
they
wants
go
to
through those
live out. Yeah,
they go through their fantasies.
Yeah,
in virtual
exactly.
reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and what about this? So think about like losing a loved one. You could sit there and have like, you know, these recordings and stuff.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like, sit there
absolutely.
and
Well,
you know,
the idea of
re-interact
singularity also is that you would not lose love. Like people would live indefinitely.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're saying the
So
idea
what-
of singularity, but with like Ian was saying though, with this virtual reality technology, those videos would be like very interactive now. You know, like
Well-
say I had my wife like just record herself in a video and was just like, hey,
What
you know,
kind
I
of
love you
video?
so much, hanging out. You know, what kind of video? We'll have a few different videos.
Yeah.
But the going away one that just keeps reminding me that she loves me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I could throw on the VR headset, and then it could be like this experience that I'm like sitting there on the couch with her still, and we're hanging out, just doing whatever and chilling. That would be one of those things. Would be totally different than like a Skype or throwing it up on a a DVD into my.
Is it different than watching a video of her? Like if you recorded a video of her?
I would think so. So think if I was like, I would think it would feel like a different experience if I was watching the television of my wife because she's on a DVD that I recorded of her, compared to me wearing a VR headset where it feels like I have the choice to look right where she's not there and left where she's there and she's doing all these, she's.
Do you think
it would feel more interactive? I think
Would it feel more interactive, but also more
it still feel fake.
more fake?
know?
Like in
I
that case, because you're like you feel like you can see them, but then you can't touch them, you can't like hear them,
I
you
would
can't
still-
like smell what they smell like, like all that kind of
It would be. I
well,
feel like it would be-
tactile feedback.
It would be more interactive. It would still be known though that it was virtual. You know what I mean? Like I'd still know that. Okay, I think it would be a step up from the experience interactively than watching a television to feeling like I'm actually within she's in the space with me.
Have you ever seen the movie Her?
Yes.
Yeah,
Fucking
I think,
best sci-fi movie.
yeah, I have to. I have it. I just haven't seen it.
Dude,
I would just sit down and watch that this weekend. If
this
you have
is
a
what you're
chance.
talking about, Rocco, in a lot of ways. In terms of
Okay.
singularity and like advanced technologies, and it's
Yeah.
really cool.
It's a very different take on futurology kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that like the direction of where these things can go is like wild, man. It's like endless.
I think what's interesting is that we take for granted how quickly we have jumped through this last age of science. Science is just very like compounding in its speed. It would be really interesting to see how quickly we go through VR and how quickly it advances. And so, in like 5-10 years, like what are we staring down the barrel of? How close are we to the singularity?
When Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, our cell phones right now, our smartphones are more powerful than the computers that were used then.
Right.
So
Yeah.
look at like the jump we've already made
That's what I'm
in
saying, yeah.
technology. Yeah. So like you're saying, we're gonna fly through this VR.
Well, that's
We're
why that's why like people are worried about like the singularity thing is because the technology is advancing way faster than like our brains are even like capable of handling
Assessing
at this
it.
point. Yeah.
That's
Think
totally
about when
true.
they can, like create an AI, for that
Watch Her.
hollow point.
Yeah.
Watch Her.
That's pretty much
It's
it.
really
Her is
interesting.
about AI.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of different companies that are developing AI right now in different forms. Like
I think this would be great though for like military and stuff. People being overseas and don't get to see their family and
Oh,
see their
yeah.
kids. I mean
Yeah,
that
that would be
would
good.
be huge.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would be nice to like actually get a face or
Yeah.
whatever like.
And
You
they're
can see
to
actually
go
how much your kids are growing and
I mean,
stuff like
and
that.
if you look at that video from the YouTube, he's like interacting with his little daughter. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those
Yeah.
things that would be and it looks a little creepy.
It was when she showed up. I was like, ah.
Alan's like, oh god.
what's interesting is that combined with
kill it.
with gene technology, like gene morphing technology, will help get to the singularity quicker. Like they're looking at aging as more of a disease these days than it is like a natural, like inevitable thing that you need to accept. Like they're looking at it as like this is a problem with our like genome structure, and we're gonna figure out how to fix it. And then like you don't age anymore, like that's nuts. Same thing, like it has like I feel like when we're able to manipulate cells to stop cancer and AIDS and all that stuff, like I feel like we're going to be able to manipulate aging and things like that. And then there's splicing,
it's still just like a decay of like cells, right? So like if you had something replenishing those cells, then you wouldn't be dying necessarily, would you?
True.
it's a trigger. It's like it's a trigger in the cell that causes it
I
to
honestly,
age. It's really
I
weird.
had researched this once before, but I cannot recall like what it was. So I don't want to like voice my opinion on it, but it was something along what Clay is saying right now. I can't honestly remember, but it was like explaining exactly how aging even occurs.
Yeah.
You
Same
know?
thing can be said for hunger, sleep. Like
Yeah.
there's chemicals and things that need to happen. Like if we can manipulate the genome to not have to need those triggers or to do it in a different way, it's really interesting.
Well, one thing is that I know the world would be fucking awesome if there was multiple Ians. Like,
Just cloning yourself.
Multiplicity. They all become
Yes.
more dumb. Each one will be dumber and dumber.
That was a great movie, though.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
it's one of my favorites. Speaking of Ian, you have maybe our last topic. Yes, you have our
sure
last
do.
topic.
I
So
do have
why
our
don't
last
we go
topic.
on to that.
So I was actually kind of wondering about this. Basically, I have two parts to this topic. Is one, what is something that you've always kind of wanted to learn, like a skill or maybe a talent or something? And are there any that you wanted to really learn that you went out and kind of found? Like one of my things that I wanted to do since I was a kid, especially when I started playing 1080 snowboarding, was learn how to snowboard.
Yeah,
and
man,
I
that was
went out
such
and
a
learned
sick
it.
game.
And it's so much fun. I'm actually doing the real snowboarding, not just the game. So that was like one of my things that I always wanted to do, and I enjoy it a lot. Even being a Floridian, where we have A, no mountains, and B, no snow. But it's one of my favorite things to do. Another thing I tried to learn, I just didn't give myself enough time, was like to learn to play guitar.
Oh yeah.
I learned a few intros and stuff like that, and then I just kind of just gave up on it.
That's
and
something
another-
I like feel the same way about. It's like, oh, a musical instrument. is just,
Instrument,
like,
yeah.
so sexy. Like,
Well, you know what, and what I sat there and then tried to do
Saxophone.
was no, a harmonica.
Oh, yeah,
How
jazz
cool would that
flute.
be? Just to whip out a
Flute,
harmonica.
the jazz flute. Jazz flute is for
Oh, I'm not
little
prepared for this at
sissies.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, like I learned and I really liked, was kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. That was another big thing that I dedicated close to 2 years of my life to. And I mean, I want to get back into it, and a lot of people that end up quitting it sometimes, I'm saying the same thing, is that I just don't have time. But in all reality, I do have time. You know, if you really put it down, I could cut out of my video game habit, and other things like
Yeah.
that. But
We could all get a lot of shit done if we cut it down.
but I don't know. Is there something that you guys have been thinking of trying to
Lots of
learn
stuff.
here soon?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like Rocco was saying, like an instrument. Like I've taken some piano lessons and like gotten like, you know, at some point, but I like always wanted to like learn more about it. Guitar. I mean, any musical instrument really. Just like instruments, languages. There's like a
That's what I was
never
gonna say,
ending,
languages is where
never
it's at.
ending list of things. You know.
yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you this. There was a really funny time that with Rocco, I went over to his house, and I was honestly thinking about learning Mandarin, and I really wanted to. And he's like, he said something to me about learning a language. I was like, yeah, I've been taking Mandarin for like 3 years. He's like, no way, and I totally had him going, but I never.
Ni hao ma.
Yeah, I think I just started making up some Chinese words.
It's like probably
Or-
the most racist
or-
shit ever.
Or
Yeah,
like,
Ching Tao Mama.
or sounding like it.
But yeah, I always wanted to learn Mandarin. You know, I
Yeah.
thought that'd be a pretty interesting.
It'd be useful these days.
Oh,
I know,
big time.
honestly. I would
Especially
see
for
for me though, that one that you were saying, like the first step is the like what would you want to learn? Definitely, like Alan just said too, and you just said, Ian, is a language by far. That's one of the like number one things for me right now. And my son, who, you know, just yesterday was like, I want to learn Spanish. I was like, perfect opportunity for me to go learn Spanish at the same time. He's going to
Yeah.
be learning Spanish and kind of do it together, where we can now come home and we can speak a little Spanish together or something like that. But speaking another language is like one of the top of the priorities for me, of like something I want to learn that I haven't yet, because it opens up a whole nother door of communication to a bunch
Exactly.
of other individuals that you weren't able to ever have communication with.
It just
you know?
opens a door, yeah, to anything. Like
Yeah.
anything related to that culture, then you're like you have an in, you know, like then you can learn more about anything about that they know, you know.
And I've
that's-
got family that's, you know, like my wife's side is Peruvian, so like
Right.
they live in Peru, or if I could speak Spanish, it would be huge.
yeah.
you know,
if you could
like,
go to Peru, like, hey, where's like the good spot to get
Yeah.
this, you know, food or something, you know, like, oh,
interact
where's like a
with
great
them,
place to go?
just have a conversation with them where it's
Yeah.
not like broken Spanish or broken English, just attempting to try, but we can actually
Yeah.
know who each other is. Like they can ask me questions and I can answer them. They can get to know who Rocco is, and I can do the same vice versa. You know, but we
Yeah.
can't really do that when we have such a, you know, barrier between us by language. So
You
Yeah.
should look at that Rosetta Stone, right? I heard that
Yeah,
is a really
Rosetta
great way
Stone's a
to
good one.
passively
also
learn.
there's Rosetta Stone. There's another one too called Pimsleur, which is one I like a lot. Is it
Does not roll off the tongue.
Pimsleur?
Pimsleur.
Learn a language.
So it's like,
Rensler, Rensler.
it's like learning like specific, you know, verbs or nouns and stuff like that. It throws you in with like conversational words, because they say that that's how children learn. They learn by like not just one word at a time, but like a sentence at a time kind of deal. Like, hey, how are you? And just a response. Oh, I'm doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they learn their conversation skills that way.
That makes
So
sense.
this is how Pimsleur teaches, and I've taken a few of it, and it was working really well. But then, just like Ian had said, that he dropped out. And
I would suggest
did it
because like
time.
you guys know, I'm taking Japanese and have been taking it for the last year or so.
Yeah.
I would suggest
Tutor?
a tutor because like being able to interact with like a native speaker and is like invaluable because they can really tell you like critique what you're saying, like how you're saying it.
You find
Let
out
you
you're
know-
saying it totally wrong.
Yeah,
you're like,
you might be saying it totally wrong, which like a program or like a recording, a playback, you might not be able to pick up, right? And not only that, but there's always like some sort of like subtleties to something you're saying. Like it might mean literally you get this translated, oh, like how are you doing today? But what you say, what it means to that in that language is not necessarily the exact same,
Right.
Like it might be like less polite, or it might be too polite,
Rude.
rude. Yeah, exactly. So like
Rude
getting
boy.
getting that from an actual tutor is something really good. And then also you have that obligation to go to the class, which is something that helps you stick to the task as well. Because then you're like, oh shit, like I have to go to that class
yeah,
today,
it's like you can't
Other
make
than
an
like,
excuse of no
yeah, it's
time.
like, oh, I could put my headphones in my like little mic on, and then I'm like, well, or League of Legends could
Yeah,
be on
exactly.
right now, like.
Yeah.
Or both.
So-
We're just playing
Yeah.
Legends.
Yeah,
not
just
gonna-
Hola.
hey, just
Yeah.
just go on to like the Japanese server and try to play there
Oh,
and
that's
yeah,
communicate
exactly.
with them all.
Oh, that would be one too. Like,
Yeah, but then you
interact-
just be like looking at all the language and you just be like, I have no idea what they're saying.
They're pinging something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I know, like, it's the two big different things of speaking and listening and then writing. Like, that's like, they're
Well-
Yeah.
two very different and very hard things to pick up.
And another thing is communication. Like the words are, I think, like maybe 15 or 20% of actual communication. It's actually your tone, your body language, and everything too. So you don't get that from just a tape or just reading a word.
Right.
So I think that's a good idea. Now I took almost 3 years of French in school and 2 years of Spanish, and that was so
Routine.
long ago,
Yeah.
but. I really enjoyed the French, but I mean that's a difficult language, quite honestly.
They have a word,
Yeah.
like, they have to make a word for any new word that comes up.
Well, not only that, everything has a masculine and feminine meaning to it, and all these kind of crazy things.
So does Spanish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Like,
it
So do most
most of them,
languages,
yeah.
right?
besides ours.
Yeah.
But we
Here's
have
one-
one of the
here's-
most confusing languages, though. That's what's
We
funny.
do,
Is English
yeah.
is extremely
that-
confusing.
on
Like
that
I don't
second-
even. I can't. I'm not even that great at it.
Dude, you got started.
On that second part, you said was like something that we wanted to learn and that we took the time to go learn. You said.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, it's something that maybe that we don't know about you that you actually did take the time. Like I said, I learned
Okay.
snowboarding and jujitsu and everything.
So I don't know if you guys can see this as well. Can you
Is that
see
a
that?
greenhouse?
Yes, that is a greenhouse. So I took the time to educate myself on growing and on building things like a greenhouse, and
Sweet.
have done just that. And we've started growing. Let's just
What
say
are you growing, Rocco?
Yeah.
everything.
Green.
No, vegetable. Yeah, everything you can think of vegetable wise. It's like that was something that like I don't know where it came from, but it started to develop as a passion slowly over the past like 3-4 years.
You got a green thumb, dude.
Yeah, man. It was like I didn't know, and I just started to slowly put time into educating myself on everything I could about vegetables, plants, greenhouses, understanding it. And this year we finally completed our greenhouse, and it's 18 feet wide by 30 feet long, so it's
Oh,
a pretty
wow.
decent sized greenhouse.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's like I'm not just trying to do it the traditional way either, where it's just I'm making raised beds or just growing within the ground in the greenhouse. But I'm trying to do it a little bit different. So I educated myself also on aquaponics, which I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with.
So I think Nate does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
does,
he
yeah.
said he did. I didn't talk to him much about it, but it's a different kind of growing technique within a system. And that's something that I took the time to learn on my own. I didn't have anybody. I didn't go to a class, or I didn't have anybody teaching me that one. I just kind of picked up the books and started learning it. And 3-4 years later, I'm finally prepared and ready to go.
Right.
That was and it feels gratifying too, especially with having.
Have you guys grown some stuff yet?
Right now we're sowing seeds, so we had our last frost about 2 weeks ago, so we should be good. And growing in a greenhouse is a lot easier. You're not having to worry too much about temperatures outside.
Yeah.
But as of today, it was kind of like 50s. You know, it's going to get to the high 60s. So we figured that right now is a good time for us to start. So the beginning of this week, today is Saturday. The beginning of this week, we planted a few different seeds, prepping for going to transplant probably in about 2-3 weeks into our soil. So
And
we're
so,
What are you growing though?
right now. We have, I mean, seriously, like I said, everything. I meant like everything,
Oh,
like
okay.
sweet peppers, onions, tomatoes. You're talking about beets, lettuce, kale, cabbage, carrots, potatoes, like any and all vegetables you can really think about.
That's awesome.
Fruits, not so much the fruits quite yet.
are they more difficult?
I think
Not
so.
really. Like strawberries, I want to get down some really awesome, amazing strawberries. But a lot of fruits kind of do the tree thing, and we're not doing any trees right now. So it's kind of like we're just worrying more on the vegetables as of right now, and then any type of fruits that we can grow. One thing I do want to actually do, and I didn't get, was beans. I want to start doing some
Oh, yeah.
beans, like because
Musical
beans are such
fruit.
high in protein and stuff like that, and it's a big part of the vegetarian diet. So I want to get some beans going.
Let
But
me
that
ask you
was
this because
kind of really excited.
I was curious about like just even having like something like a small like little like grow a potato plant or a few
me
carrots or
too.
something. What
Yeah.
is the so do you just plant them in cycles so that you like have some that you can harvest?
Yes.
Like what's the cycle?
Yes.
Like how long
Yeah,
does
yeah,
it take, and then like how long until you get the next batch and everything?
So you want to know how long it takes before you have to harvest that plant, because every plant takes different times. I mean, it can be a
Right.
range of like 45 days, some 100 days. So depending on that, you can break down when it's necessary and how much like supply comes out of that plant. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can break down. So like what we do right now is like lettuce. We'll plant probably like 3 heads of lettuce, and then about a week to 15 days later, we'll plant another 3 or 4, so that we can harvest those 3, and then once those are most likely done,
You have about a week or two of where you can eat that lettuce, and then you have
you
the
got
next
it
one.
exactly, and not have too much, because that's actually a very important thing too that most people don't. They just go out there and they plant everything, and then they find out that they've got a ton of vegetables and ton of stuff that they could pull out, and then they're like,
Yeah.
What do
now
I
a
do
bunch
with all
goes to
this?
waste. Yeah, a bunch goes to waste, and then they don't have, it's not a sustainable garden for them. It's not.
I
They'll
see.
have a month where they have to go out and go buy their own groceries, and then they can go recut up some lettuce if they need to and pull some from the green onions. But
That's awesome. We have
it's
like
something to take into consideration when growing.
two tiny so deep kind of things outside in our condo because we live in a city. So we grow like mint, and we grow like tomatoes, and we grow
Like herbs and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
fun, like, and it's really
It is.
enjoyable when you're like, yeah, we got mint, let's go throw it in the water, or like, hey, we got basil, like, let's go make some pizza and like
Yeah.
add that to it. And
That's
to me,
awesome.
My
it's-
mom does the same thing. Yeah, she has like a little herb garden and stuff, and that's
It
what she's always
develops
like.
patience, man.
Throw some stuff on there.
Yeah.
It develops patience, which is like one of the best like attributes that you can develop as a human
Yeah.
being. It's,
Yeah.
Well,
it's not something that's like, we're so used to instant gratification here in the United States, or not just the United States, in the world in general right
Yeah.
now nowadays, that it's like when you do the whole growing process and it brings you back to like, take your time. Things are not going to just pop up right there. You're going to have 2 months, 3 months before even any of this is prepared to be, harvested. So, it's another thing I like about that too. It feels like you were saying when you get the mint and and then tomatoes, like you just feel like, yes, we did that.
I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels very gratifying. And then you're
And you
saving
can
money.
do
You're like,
all
I don't have to buy this at the
aquaponics
store. This is
too.
sweet.
Like
Yeah.
the aquaponic system that I'm building right now, there's the capabilities of building smaller ones. If you're living in the city and you only have a really small area, being able to do stuff to that, do stuff on a small scale too, where you don't have to use bigger fish. You could use things like goldfish if you wanted to as well. Just like kind of, I got a goldfish little tank, feed them a little bit, and that water will cycle around and be able to feed your plants instead of having to use soil.
It's
So-
cool.
Yeah, I think that's what Nate has because he has what was the fish that he has?
He's like trout or like
Tilapia.
tilapia.
Tilapia, yeah, tilapia, yeah. He has tilapia, and it's like he's doing this inside of his like hostel apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one
Like-
bedroom apart. Not
Like
even
it's
studio
tiny.
apartment.
I've been in it before, and it is tiny, and it's so crazy when he like shows this video because he's got like fucking like bubbling like tilapia tank with like a shit ton of fish swimming around in it,
Yeah.
and then it's like
Yeah.
like you see all these tubes going in throughout his vegetables and like gardening stuff, and I'm just like, this is insane to be.
And then what he
growing
does,
inside.
the tilapia have eggs, and they
Yeah.
get new tilapia, and then he gets the older tilapia, and he eats them. So like,
Yep.
Right.
he's got his own sustainable
Yep.
food source.
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Exactly. That's why I like the aquaponic system. Now the fish are harvestable like every 9 months, so it takes they're going to be a little bit longer than what you'll get from
He's
the.
got like 10 or 15 of them, right? So like,
He- the tank that I have it's gonna carry 200 of them. So
Oh,
it's gonna
that's
be like, but I'm looking at it as like a eventually converting this into a kind of company. And I already have somebody that like a restaurant that's capable of purchasing the tilapia from me that uses tilapia for their fish. So it's something like
That's nice.
I'm looking at it as almost like a business because eventually I wanted to make it. It started all off like this whole passion, Ian. It started all off from I hated the excuse that people made with I couldn't eat right because it's too expensive.
I remember you
And
saying that years
and
ago.
I understood that, like I get that, and I was like, all right, I want to eliminate that. So that's why I started this project in the beginning, in the first place, was because I wanted to start selling the vegetables that any excess vegetables that I had that my family weren't going to eat, I could start selling them off at conventional prices instead of organic prices, so people
On the
could
side
no
of the
longer.
road. That's gonna be Rocco.
I mean, on the side of the road at first, and then
yeah.
eventually, I mean, everything starts out of the garage with entrepreneurs, really, and
No,
then
I'm telling you,
sometimes
that's
it
a great
stays there
idea.
for a good amount of time, until eventually I wanted to change it into a totally different shopping experience where individuals can come there and go to the greenhouse and kind of pick their own food, feel like a gardener,
Oh,
or
cool.
just give us a list and we can just go get it for them.
I love
That's
that.
awesome, Rocco. So Clay, what about you? What do you got?
Mine's more like internet like kind of stuff. Like I wanted to code. I've been picking that up on and off. The dream there
Run
is
a
to make my own
podcast.
game from start to finish. Podcast was definitely something I wanted to do. I always thought that our friends are very entertaining, and we have we're funny. We have great conversations. We also love video games, and I thought that this was a passion project that like at the very least we can just develop content over the course of months and years. And if it takes off, it takes off. If nothing else, we have a pretty cool time capsule to look at.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of years, aren't we coming up on our year?
Yeah, we still have a couple more months to go, but yeah, wow,
Yeah.
it's already
Wow.
April, but yeah, we
Yeah.
have
That's
like
insane,
4
isn't
months.
that?
Yeah, I just thought
That's so
about that.
crazy.
So we can go back to
actually.
our first episode, Virgins and Sex, and we can check that out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really funny. Those have been passion projects. Let's see. I've always wanted to learn a martial arts or something like that. Like I did that when I was a kid, but I kind of wanted to learn actual fighting style that you would actually do in real
Like an
world.
MMA or one specifically
Yeah,
like
like an
specialized?
MMA, like
Okay.
a way to
Jiu-jitsu
really
all
just
day.
take someone down.
Yeah, exactly. Jiu-jitsu is where it's at.
Like boxing I flirted with. Making music, actually, making like a CD. I started a project back when I was in Chicago, and I was going to sample and create my own kind of what is it?
Like just dubstep beats, or is it
No.
like?
No, it was gonna be a mix of Wax Taylor, where he takes samples of movies and stuff like that and adds that into his beats, but also what is All Day was an album. What is the guy's name? He basically just takes all different types of music and mashes it up, and then creates
Girl talk?
Yeah, Girl Talk. So it
Yeah.
was gonna be a combination of Girl Talk and Wax Taylor, and I wanted to kind of just do that, and I had a couple ideas of basically concept albums, go through the years of hip hop and have them broken out.
Like a DJ or like a
little bit of
kind of
DJ,
like a DJing sort of thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
but less. I don't know. It was just gonna be a little bit more methodical, and I had this idea of a track called Suicide, and it was going to be a combination of my favorite rap artists who have quote unquote killed the other artist on the track. There's a term that says, oh, he killed that other artist on the track, meaning he was so good that every other artist failed in comparison, and he pretty much killed him. But if you get all those guys who've killed it, and then they've killed each other on their own track, so it was called Suicide, and it was just all the
Gotcha.
rappers. They're famous. Eminem has a famous track with Jay-Z in which he killed Jay-Z, and then you take Eminem, you take another guy who's killed another, and
Right.
they're all on one track together. It's
And
nuts.
that's Suicide. That's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty cool
So
concept,
it's
right?
concepts
That is
like
pretty
that. Also, Wonder Woman was a concept that I had, and it was basically my favorite verses of my favorite rap women. So a Missy Elliott verse that I really liked, a Nicki Minaj verse that I really liked, and a couple other different artists. And then it was
And a
just
Taylor Swift one.
yeah, of course, Taylor Swift. But yeah, those would be on a track called Wonder Woman. I had a bunch of different stuff that was
That's a
flying
good
around.
idea.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I can still do it. It still requires me to get into Fruity Loops and
Yeah.
start
Oh
making,
yeah.
you know, tracks and stuff.
FL Studio now.
Yeah, FL Studio, right. What was
They're
it? Was
legit
Oh,
now.
is that what it's called now?
Yeah.
FL
They like
Studios.
changed their name to like more legit sounding. Yeah.
Ah, dude, I thought Fruity Loops was a cool name.
Yeah. The album was gonna be called. It was damn it. It wasn't the.
Thug Life.
No, so Jay-Z has the blueprint. Jay-Z has the blueprint, but there was a term that comes before blueprint, and I wanted to throw that down there as like an homage, but also like a way to like kind of say that this was like the prototype before that, like get real basic. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas floating around. I gotta look at my notes, but I have like 2 years of notes of all the different types of things I wanted to do, and I started to do that. I started getting samples because I was gonna be, it was like DJ Heartbreak or something like that. Like so, it was a Heartbreak Kid or something like that. Like no, Cardiac, DJ Cardiac. So there would be like the Heartbreak Kid, like that would be like kind of be thrown in on different, and it'd be samples of Shawn Michaels saying that, or samples of like different like movies saying Heartbreak or like Cardiac or different things like that. So. I was gonna have a lot of fun with it and just see what I could do.
Cardia.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, I wanted some like scratching in there to like, cause yeah, like but real scratching, like, and that was probably the most challenging thing because someone who does that really well knows exactly why and what they're doing, and that takes a lot of learning.
I saw a video of that guy from Jim. That was a Jim
God,
Laundry
yeah,
thing. He's like out there, he's like scratching and just makes no sense. He's
so
just like,
bad.
I'm like, that doesn't sound good at all.
But the reality of the situation is there's a lot of time that needs to be invested in that, and I have my career that I'm focused on. I have my passion projects that are like obtainable that we're doing right now. I have my hobbies, so it's just about prioritizing what I want to get to. I'm sure I'll revisit it eventually, but
Yeah,
probably won't be for a couple years.
that's cool though, man. I
That's
didn't
cool.
know that
That's a
part of
good
you.
idea,
Yeah, I didn't know you were gonna be DJ Cardiac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardiac arrest.
Yeah. All right.
I think it hit
so-
out pretty well though. It'd be good.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think that covers our topic here. Do you guys want
Cool.
final thoughts before we sign off?
I'm good.
We're good.
All right,
I think
guys.
that's the way the door closes, man.
AK, that's the way the door closes. Guys, this has been another episode of the Everything and Nothing Show. We'll have another episode for you next week. 5 topics, Monday through Friday on YouTube, and Saturday you get the whole thing. Remember, if you want to be a Maelstrom Gamer, head over to patreon.com/MaelstromGamers and support us with as little as $1. That is huge support. And if you don't have money, you can always go on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our Instagram page. Follow us, like us, comment, subscribe. We want to hear from you. We want to play with you, too, because on YouTube, we're streaming League of Legends. So hop on.
Clay wants to play with you.
I want to play with you. We all want to play with you. So hop on to the games we're streaming. Play with us. Be a part of our community. We want to see if you're good. We're not really that good, but we'll make it fun. We promise.
But we
so-
are
We are entertaining.
entertaining.
Yes. So, guys, it's been an honor to entertain you. Peace.
I'm starting us
Take
out
care.
with the music.
Adios.
DJ Cardiac. Cardiac.